Welcome to the Order Up Show. We're going to talk about all the amazing books on Final Order Cutoff this coming Monday, July 21st, the week of San Diego Comic Con. And there is a lot to talk about. We have some amazing titles that have names bigger than What's the Furthest Place from Here or Something is Killing the Children, and some crazy topics to cover in those books as well. On top of that, we have a brilliant writer in the way of Zack Kaplan, who's going to be talking about his newest book, which is on FOC this Monday. And we have the incredible Kyle to give commentary and more. So stay tuned because we have quite the show for you right after.
Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you.
And we have quite a lot of amazing comics that are going to be on FOC this Monday, July 21st. So, for those of you who want to see how to check out all the comics that are on Final Cutoff every Monday, there are two main websites nowadays to check this on. PRHcomics.com is going to handle your Marvel, IDW, Dark Horse, Distillery, and others. As you can see here with this wonderful landing page, you just simply scroll down and look at FOC, make sure it's the right day, and you can click there to gain more. However, if you want all those other amazing publishers, DC, Image, Dynamite, and more, you're going to want to go to lunardistribution.com. You'll be seeing a page like this, and then you just simply scroll down to upcoming FOC, make sure you're on the right date, and you'll be able to see all those comics there. Now, as always, we're going to give you our curated list of the recommendations and new books and big new storylines that we recommend here, but you can see all of that by checking both websites in this post-Diamond Previews World era. And then remember to get your list of everything you want to your local comic shop. The sooner, the better. Now, I think we're going to dive directly into this. Let's go straight to it at Penguin Random House. And we're going to start not all the way at P, but up at the top in A. Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 10. Joe Kelly still kicking butt on this as Peter Parker determines he needs to be the strongest he's ever been, and what that means and how it's going to lead to a harder life for his villains. You'll have to read ASM number 10 to find out. But the part that intrigues me the most at Marvel is going to start in Avengers 29. Jed MacKay has been doing a phenomenal job on the various titles he's been working on recently, but Avengers is a particularly interesting one, as now we're going to tie in to Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, as you can see with the hint on the cover, as Reed Richards discovers a new artifact of the Marvel Universe in the way of I cannot remember the name of it, the Grail. There it is, the Grail. So make sure you take a look at that, all of its amazing covers. If you haven't been reading Jed's run on Avengers, this is the issue to hop on if you were at all a fan of Hickman's Secret Wars, which I think is going to get a lot of attention coming up, not only from the Secret Wars film, but as you'll see later on FOC, we have a number of Secret Wars trades that are coming up. A lot of great ones continuing, but another one I'm excited about, especially following up a previous guest we had on the show about 2 weeks ago, is Bring on the Bad Guys Dormammu. Bring on the Bad Guys Dormammu features one of Kyle's favorite characters and is written by Alex Paknadel and Mark Guggenheim. Mark Guggenheim doing the backup, Alex Paknadel doing the lead. But when you have a cosmic level entity in the way of Dormammu, it makes you have to question how he fits the theme of the Bring on the Bad Guys series of making a deal with Mephisto. I mean, Kyle, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I like that Alex Paknadel was just like, I can't really talk about it. Like, he was totally like, I got to write this great Dormammu book, but I can't tell you anything about it. Which was super fun. But to me, the thought of Dormammu making a deal with Mephisto has to center around one of the few things Dormammu can't handle himself, right? Like some of the things where Dormammu has in the past battled Uatu and some of those level creatures. So it's got to be he needs a teammate to take out a fellow Celestial.
Tell you, I don't know that I'd want to be Dormammu's teammate.
I certainly wouldn't, but I do know what a powerful teammate Dormammu can be.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of these characters that his powers are so often underrepresented and under respected in the Marvel universe, right? Like the dude has really, really interesting powers that we don't get to see all the time. And so bringing him in, letting him eat, as it were, is certainly an opportunity, I think, to really reintroduce the character to a new group of readers, but also to give Mephisto someone who is equally untrustworthy. Right? It's like the enemy of my enemy is also my enemy, but sometimes they have to be my friend.
There it is. So, on that note, I want to point out a really fun feature. If you're not familiar with on PRH Comics, now you can see all of the various covers on the FOC page. But if you click on one of these titles, like Bring on the Bad Guys Dormammu, and you notice there are the main cover plus 8 additional variants, you can just scroll down to see all of those amazing covers right there on display. At least the ones where the artwork has been submitted. Because, as the joking and loving theme we've been, portraying over the past few weeks with the JSC covers or the Just Spectacular Collection comics of J. Scott Campbell covers, Scott seems to be a little slow on getting them to us on FOC. Clearly, he's getting them to Marvel on time because they're going to print. But sometimes you just got to order blind. The one nice thing is we all know that we love J. Scott Campbell, so at least we can guarantee it's going to be something pretty. But J. Scott Campbell Dormammu has me intrigued. So for those of you guys who love when comics cross over with film and television, this is a cool one. A classic Boom Studios comic, Butterfly, is about to make it to Amazon Prime as a new TV series starring Daniel Dae Kim. Yes, Shang-Chi himself is going to be playing a Korean operative in this crazy series. So Boom, of course, is rushing the trade paperback out to print. Now, you normally don't see this quick of a turnaround. If you looked at Bring on the Bad Guys Dormammu, we were FOCing it this Monday. It doesn't come out till August 20th. Of course, this is a trade paperback, so it's a little bit easier to do in the respects that the artwork and everything is already completed. But it is a quick turnaround for the thickness of 144 pages. This trade paperback will be in stores August 12th, but it's still allowing your store to FOC, so you can guarantee a copy by placing an order with your local comic shop. You will have it in time for the TV series when it airs. And if you haven't read Butterfly, this is quite the crazy thriller. You can get all of the information down there. It is a tour de force of creators. And I mean, on top of that, this trade is going to come with 40 pages of exclusive content, bringing you into the TV series. All right. So moving on, we have a ton of great books that I am beyond excited for. But the one that, of course, always catches my attention the most is anytime we go to the world of Arrakis in the way of Dune. Dune, Edge of the Crysknife is another one-shot, following up the previous Edge of the Crysknife one-shot, focusing on Shadout Mapes. If you remember from the book or film, Shadout Mapes is the elder Fremen who gives Jessica the Crysknife that would lead to her ability to interact with the Fremen people on Arrakis. Now, this one's an interesting one because it goes to a much younger Shadout Mapes and her son, who is starting a rebellion on the planet of Dune against the former Harkonnen leader, not Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, the villain of the Dune book and movie, but his brother. And his brother was never known for being a powerful man. It is why, for those who have read the prequel novels or comics, you see that he was exiled to another planet. But we never truly got to hear what happened during his reign on Arrakis/Dune that just killed the spice trade. Apparently, this will be the answer. What happened to Baron Abelard Harkonnen that led to Vladimir, his brother, taking the reins of Dune? So really, really cool one. With a title like Rage of Shai Hulud, expect some major sandworm fun. I think this is going to be a really, really good one and might answer some questions for Dune fans, as it is masterfully written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, the duo who handle all of the modern Dune novels and now comics. Moving forward, we have a lot of crazy and great manga on today's FOC, but one
This is a great manga week, man. Like, so many good ones.
yeah, but one that really catches my attention is actually a reprint. There's a new edition timing itself for an upcoming anime. Go For It Nakamura-kun. Go For It Nakamura-kun is a cute boys love manga about a young high school student who is in love with another boy at his school. The problem is, or maybe not the problem in the case of Nakamura, is that he's never even met this boy. But Nakamura feels that's good because he's such a klutz that he feels meeting him will only make that young man hate him. Nevertheless, we are all rooting for him to actually meet this boy and fall in love. It is a great manga series. I am happy to see it reprinted. It looks beautiful format in the new reprint. And then on top of that, timing itself with a great summer anime to attach to it. So once you fall in love with the anime, if you haven't already placed a pre-order for this, go into the store, grab the manga so you can get ahead, because you know how those animes work. Just like the comic movies, they're only going to give you so much at a time, and you're going to want more. And why not start at the source? Godzilla, he is having quite the year in 2024. He is taking on Kong in the Justice League. He's getting his first new ongoing series with this Kaisei era that's leading to two separate spin-offs in the way of Dead Zone and Space Godzilla. He is up for countless awards throughout this year's award season. But then the big one, in my opinion, is he's also destroying the Marvel Universe. If you didn't already grab Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe issue number 1, your comic shop should hopefully still have it. Issue number 2 is on FOC with a bevy of great covers. And if you missed out on Godzilla fighting individual members of the Marvel Universe, you can grab the trade paperback of Godzilla vs. the Marvel Universe that leads into Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. You don't require to read those, but I guarantee you'll enjoy it more if you do. The wonderful E.M. Gist has a great cover on that trade paperback you can order at just $20. And keep in mind, some of these trades or some of those single issues are going for notably more on the aftermarket, and we're at minimum $5 a piece. So you're saving money with that trade.
I'm gonna give a hot take right now.
All right.
For years, everybody has wished for the crossovers between the companies, right? You know, we're getting Marvel and DC crossing over with Deadpool and Batman later. But the crossover we all want is comic companies versus Godzilla. Right? Like, let's make an old school, your lips move and then the sound comes out Godzilla movie featuring the greatest heroes from all of the companies that are working with Godzilla right now. It's a license to print money. Like, Godzilla is one of the hottest properties on the planet at the moment. Superhero properties are coming back with the way Superman reacted in the hype for Fantastic Four. So those things are coming back, like, into the zeitgeist for the normies. Let's get them all. I want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting alongside Captain America and Thor, fighting alongside. Let's get Boom Studios in here, the kids from Fence, you know, the Immortals from Kill All Immortal. Like, get them all, throw them into a blender, and make them fight Godzilla.
I like that lead in too. You know, we're gonna have to talk a little bit about that Godzilla crossover. But you know, a weird one I do have to bring up. Have we not had a Godzilla TMNT crossover? I mean, IDW does the Godzilla comics. Have we not
There has not been specifically.
Huh.
There has been allusion to, and I do believe it's coming, but every time I ask my friends at IDW, they go,
verbatim.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
when you're attending Comic-Con next week to bring up
Right.
the IDW booth.
Right? Like, I'm sure someone is itching to write this too. Like, I'm sure we can get Patton or somebody to write the greatest treatment, and it's a done deal. It's a license to print money.
All right. Now, in my opinion, a way to get money, obviously, out of anything is more Mike Mignola Hellboy. So, Hellboy has a brand new one-shot called Professor Harvey is Gone. It's Hellboy in the BPRD. It is written by Mike Mignola, but it has artwork by Giuseppe Manunta, incredible Italian artist, as you can see with that cover there. I'm excited. I like done-in-one Hellboy stories because I can just dive right in. You don't always have to read them. I mean, there's not really a reading order because they bounce around. But this is just fun to dive back in. And as much as I love Mike's artwork, don't get me wrong, I adore Mike's artwork. It is fun seeing different artists' takes. So this is going to be a fun, simple one as we have a professor of rare artifacts, perfect concept for the paranormal BPRD to handle, going missing, and Hellboy has to go after him, only to find out whoever has taken the professor is also after Hellboy himself. So,
well, and the B cover is your traditional Mignola. Like, don't miss that. But the thing about Giuseppe Manuta's art is that it is so influenced by Mignola, but influenced by so many other more traditionalists, right?
yes.
So it's got that very Mignola feel where it feels a little crunchy, but like flat. And at the same time, it has the layers you see from a more traditional painter in terms of the way they layer the shading and stuff. So it's a real nice fit for Hellboy.
Yeah. So I am
I
excited.
rewatched those movies the other day, and I'm going to give another. The Hellboy movies?
Yeah, the Guillermo del Toro ones.
Yeah, I'm going to give a hot take. Hellboy 2 is not nearly as bad as people give it credit for. I'm going to say it now.
Not nearly as bad as people give it credit for.
Yeah, people are like, it's the first one, and then it's the new one with David Harbour, and then it's this one. I'm like, no.
Oh no, the Golden Army is one of my favorite.
Golden Army is
ever made.
Yeah, people still rank it third, and I'm going, no, you're wrong. It's first or second for sure.
I mean, look, I don't know what happened between Guillermo del Toro and Mike Mignola, or whatever the deal was, but man, I would kill for a a third Hellboy movie in that Guillermo del Toro verse. I'm
I
enjoying
just want
individual
the
ones.
Abe Sapien movie.
Yes.
I don't even need Hellboy with Guillermo. I want Abe Sapien.
So let's talk a few more manga though, really quick, because we talked about crazy titles in manga, and
Right, and then Zach's sitting back here going, "These guys are just ranting about random stuff."
yeah. But we'll get there in a moment. But I must say, I abandoned my engagement because my sister is a tragic heroine, but somehow I became entangled with a righteous prince, Volume 4.
Do we need to
It,
tell Tamara something?
it is a record length manga title, in my opinion.
It really is. It's up there.
Yeah.
There are
I
a
mean,
couple other ones I think this week that are longer, but not nearly as interesting.
yeah. I mean, I will say that you do get these interesting things. My favorite part is the addition of the volume number because things like I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl, Volume 9. I would hope that by volume 2 or 3, you knew whether or not you turned your childhood friend into a girl. But let's dive down that story. But yeah, some great manga as always on FOC. One of my favorite things now with Lunar and Penguin Random House is you're seeing a lot of these other great manga publishers finally get Final Order Cutoff, which is allowing comic shops to get more attention on this. And you, the consumer, the opportunity to make sure your comic shop that might not have always carried manga in the past has the stuff you want. So always worth taking a look at when you get a chance to go through. And then sometimes just surprising yourself with the most amazingly unexpected titles that are paragraphs in length.
Bro, I remember when the time I was reincarnated as a slime came out
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, this is the dumbest title of a manga I've ever read. And then I read the manga and went, oh my God, this title is perfect and this book is amazing.
A lot of them fit that way. So on that note, I mean, I personally love Killer Shark in Another World, but I want to talk about a final issue, which is not a normal thing for the FOC show. If you have not been reading Dan Panosian's The Last Boy, which tells of a Neverland that has grown up around Peter Pan, and he is the last kid to not grow up, it is an amazing, phenomenal story. And we are on the final issue. Reach out to your local comic shop. If they don't have the single issues currently on the shelves, see if it's still available to order through them. This is an amazing, amazing comic. One of the best Boom titles in a while. And Dan Panosian, who is both a superstar artist and a brilliant writer, has done a number of great books, but this one might be my absolute favorite. So one I had to, give the pitch out to. I know that you are super excited, Kyle, about the man who died 7 times. Do you want to take a hit at that really quick?
Well, so The Man Who Died 7 Times is it's like a manga crime noir meets Groundhog Day.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's this time loop story where the legend of manga crime noir, Yashihiko Nikazawa, I think is how you say it. It's how I've always said it. This is
Yasuhiko Nishizawa.
Yeah, this is his first English language book, which I didn't know until just now, because I'd always read it online. But it's this kind of traditional sort of crime noir. Again, you think Dick Tracy, think The Spirit, think The Shadow, those kind of things, but in a very manga style storytelling, like it's almost slice of life with a time loop story put in. So it really has this light. It says witty and lighthearted in the solicitation, but my line has always been, it's maybe the funniest dark manga I've ever read. It's almost a comedy if it wasn't so sad. So I like this one. I will definitely be ordering this book, multiple copies probably, so I can give it to my friends. But this is one of those that if you sleep on it, it's going to disappear, and then it's going to be the next Attack on Titan.
I mean, on top of that, this is one of those ones where it is always good to reach out to your local comic shop and let them know you want, because it is not through the traditional manga publishers. So it's very easy for a comic shop to accidentally skip over this book.
Right now,
you are important in your local comic shop for letting them know these things.
right. I will say this: Pushkin Vertigo is one of those companies that if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you you should know, but like I'm not gonna not tell you you're missing the boat.
Yeah. So you can always click there to learn more. So before we get to our special guest, I have one more book I really want to quickly talk up, and it is a simple all-in-one one-shot. Marvel All on One is a new Marvel one-shot featuring the Thing and a bunch of other characters. But the thing that makes it so unique and well worth the $8 price tag is it is made entirely of splash pages. 50 splash pages connecting in one solid epic story with the Thing and the key Marvel Universe characters. I had to show off that incredible Sean Galloway Saturday morning cartoon style variant cover. But Ryan North and Ed McGuinness, 50 splash pages. And I mean, keep in mind, if you've ever seen Ed McGuinness art, it is always big, epic things. He is the man when it comes to drawing big characters like Hulk and Thing. This is going to be a fun one. I have no doubt in my mind. This is the book that you're going to be rereading over and over and over again. Why you want to own a physical copy, why you want to, sometimes have multiple copies, because you're going to destroy the copy you read over and over and over again. But I think it's time we bring on our special guest. We have the amazing Zack Kaplan, who is known for some of the most cognitive and intense storytelling in modern comics. Whether it is amazing books like Top Cow's Eclipse, to incredible stories he has brought to Vault, Dark Horse, Mad Cave, and more. I want to bring on Zack Kaplan.
Hello. Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hey, Zack, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing okay. Sorry for keeping you on the sideline while we're sitting there talking about a million
No
manga.
worries. Some good books to check out.
So we have a lot to talk about, but first we got to talk about that brand new comic, Masterminds.
Yeah.
I had the honor of getting to read it in advance last night, and it is phenomenal. Like, I can't tell you the last time I've had a comic just suck me in, and I did not want to hit that last page. I want issue 2 in my hands already, and I have issue 1 in my hands.
Yeah.
So, can you give us the pitch of Masterminds?
Yeah, it's about the smartest secret society in the world, and we're inviting all comic book readers to come and play. It's based on this real idea, a real thing called mastermind circles that are kind of secretive groups of people that decide that they're going to work together and help each other by any means possible to get ahead and get success. And it sounds kind of fantastical, but it's very real. They've been around for a couple centuries. I think Ben Franklin was in one. And it kind of taps into something that I think we've all been feeling in the past couple decades, which is you work hard your whole life and you think that maybe if you are determined and you're smart and you are a good person that you will get ahead. And that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It seems that so often it's who you know and how cutthroat you're willing to be. And so this is a story about a young man that is in video games and loves games and wants to be recognized for his talents, but hasn't been able to get ahead. And then he meets the secret society. And it's just a very David Fincher-esque, very Squid Games, very The Game. I'd say anyone that is read Kill or Be Killed or Department of Truth just will love this book. It's very like neo-noir thriller. It leans at times slightly horror, but more psychological horror than anything else. And yeah, and the art team is phenomenal on it. Stephen Thompson, who you might know from Star Trek, and he did the Midnight Shadows with me, and Thiago Roca is an amazing colorist. And then we've got Hassan Otsmane-Elhau, who's just phenomenal. So yeah, great team. It's really as if we took David Fincher's cinematic kind of experience and threw it onto the page. It's really kind of really cool visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that Bjorn Barend's one stunning piece there. But I have to ask. I mean, you mentioned Squid Games, and aesthetically, you can see a very strong similarity in some of these covers. Was that something you did that ties into the story, or is that more of something that Steven brought to the artwork?
I think that we didn't look at Squid Games or anything in particular in terms of trying to design the aesthetic or the iconography of it. We ended up knowing that there was a part of this. This is a secret society. There's going to be faceless, you know, characters. This is about masterminds and how smart you are and who's controlling who and who's outthinking who. So there's a lot of gamification and shadow and intrigue and suspense and a lot of just these kind of parallel elements that something like Squid Games has. But in terms, we knew that there was going to be a mask. We tried to play with our own form of the mask. We actually found that there are these electronic masks. You might have seen them at Comic Cons and things out there where they're actually playing a digital sort of thing on them. And so rather than being flat, they're animated. You can't really capture that in a comic, but he came up with the idea of kind of showing a level of pixelation to it that might give it that feel and make it feel a little more modern, a little more technological. So we just and then like this cover, for example, you see like the clipping and like the white noise, just trying to show a kind of modern technological feel to it. I mean, I think if anyone's familiar with my work, one of the things I like to do is take a trope, whether it's mind control or immortality or aliens coming to Earth, and find the modern way in, not just from a story standpoint, but from an aesthetic standpoint. So the whole book is, just Steven and I, Tom Moeller doing our amazing design work, both on the logo. We sought out Aaron Campbell on that cover right there, which is just, it really taps into the horror of it. Beyond Baron's cover taps into the kind of more techno vibes of it also. Just trying to give everybody kind of the different energies that are going into the series.
Well, speaking of that, obviously you've described the set or the concept of this. This is this Mensa level Illuminati organization to a dark new level.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that drove me most as I was reading this was our setting and our protagonist, because you also mentioned a convention. Can you tell us a little bit about the setting and protagonist that is going to attach every reader to these characters?
It starts in the world of video games. I think that we tried to draw a lot of parallels to comic books and to just any creative endeavor or any endeavor where you want to work on something creatively and you feel the grind and the walls that prevent you from finding your true path. But he's a young man that comes from kind of a troubled childhood, and he's fallen in love with games. Games give him a sense of control, and he talks about how we're all aware, like, games have taken over the world. Gaming is a bigger industry than movies. We're all, even your grandparents or parents are on Wordle. They're, fantasy football has moved to mobile apps. Everything is a game now at this point. And it seems that gamification has even permeated our interactions, how we look for a job, how we look for significant others, everything. It's just everything is a game in life. And so he's bringing a lot of that almost like Fight Club, what the heck is wrong with this world that we live in energy. And I think that's very relatable. And he is also pretty smart and pretty good at solving puzzles. So he stumbles upon the secret society. He's at a game convention in an ordinary city, maybe something like San Diego. And he stumbles upon the secret society, and he decides to try their first puzzle, and he gets invited to join. And what unfolds is the thriller of him trying to get in and who's controlling who and everything from there. And I won't spoil it too much, but I think it's a very relatable character because of what he wants in life and what he's going through. He just wants to be creative. He just wants to be appreciated and recognized for being smart, for being talented, for being hardworking. And I think yeah, it gets you. You know, you're on board. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really can't imagine anyone finishing issue number one and not committing to the entire 5-issue miniseries.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Masterminds is on FOC this Monday, July 21st.
Yes.
It releases August 27th. But I also want to talk about a few other things you have upcoming or just recently out, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
So you just wrapped up Mad Cave's Dark Empty Void, which
That's
is
right.
super intense series. The trade paperback, well, issue number 5 just wrapped up. The trade paperback doesn't come out until September 24th, right in line with issue number 2 of Masterminds.
Yeah.
Talk about this intense bit of sci-fi twisting.
Yeah. Dark Empty Void is a sci-fi horror, cosmic horror, thriller, adventure, all rolled into one, but it's about black holes. It's what if a team of scientists, they're working on a microscopic black holes, which doesn't seem too far off these days, and they lose control and crazy things come out, including a human being. And they have to bring in a very complex character. She's kind of a depressed, frustrated, college psychology professor, but they have to bring her in because they need someone they can trust to help them solve the mystery of what's going on here. And it's very much an annihilation, arrival sort of thought-provoking sci-fi thriller mixed in with some alien style horror and creature and adventure sort of vibes. And yeah, absolutely fantastic series. I'm really proud of it. Chris Sheehan is the artist, Francisco Segala, amazing colorist, and world lettering, and that's the A cover there, which will be the trade paperback cover. And yeah, I would say, like, if you're looking for some good sci-fi horror, I feel like you will love this book. It's not just atmospheric; it's an adventure. Like, it grabs you too. From it they have to go into this maelstrom, this cosmic storm that has erupted around the black hole. They have to go into it, right, you know, by the end of the first issue, and what's inside, and it is just kind of a fun discovery experience. And yeah, it's a real thrilling book where I'm excited for everybody who maybe saw it on singles and has been waiting for the trade. Yeah, very excited for people to check it out.
Yeah, it's, I mean, perfect for anybody who went and saw James Gunn's recent Superman movie and felt like, you know, I like the black hole concept and I'm bummed they never really went into it properly. This is going to be more of the, this is what could have been had Zack been the man behind Superman. But
yeah,
this is definitely one of those ones that I don't think got a lot of the attention it deserved because of the transition Mad Cave forcibly had getting kicked from Diamond over to Lunar. That I know a lot of shops had trouble getting those last issues if they were traditional Diamond shops and didn't transition quick enough to Lunar. So this trade paperback is a great way to grab this if you missed out on it for any reason. That will again be in stores of September 24th. We will talk about it in about a month when it hits final order cutoff. But absolutely amazing piece. And once again, one of the reasons I love all of your writing, Zach, is you come up with these intense sci-fi scenarios and then find an unbelievable drive and story that brings us through an already existing concept. From Point Earth to Eclipse, Dark Empty Void hits.
Yeah, and this one was, I mean, the basic character just, I mean, you tell your readers, you know, it's a sci-fi horror series like Arrival meets Annihilation or Aliens, and that's all they really need to know to dive in. But it's very much about, you know, like when you're facing like a black hole that's about to swallow Earth or creatures that are coming out, these sort of things, like how do you not just feel completely helpless and hopeless about this situation? And it's very much about fear versus hope. I mean, believing that despite the dark experience that you're having, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I came up with this during the pandemic going, is there a light at the end of the tunnel of this thing? Or are we just doomed here? And so I think it taps into a lot of experiences that people are having in the world today. And but it's just a fun experience to look at a character that thinks we're effed from the beginning, and you know, can we really pull through this thing or not? So yeah, I'm excited for people to check it out.
All right, one other one that just wrapped up, but also is coming out with the sequel soon, is Kill All Immortals. Now we just had the trade paperback of the first volume. The first volume release May 7th. But thanks to the new solicits that have been recently dropped, we see there is a volume 2. So can you give us the pitch on the first volume before we talk about what's coming up?
Oh yeah, the first volume is it's a family of immortal Vikings living present day as a billionaire empire, and the only daughter finally wants out. So it's an HBO Succession family drama with immortal Vikings, and they're fighting John Wick style. And the whole thing is just a high octane, visually stunning, just nonstop thriller. It's from the get go. It's violent. It's a ton of energy on the page. Fico Ossio and Thiago Rocha are the art team. Fico Ossio, you might know him from Mr. Miracle, Black Lightning, No One Left to Fight. But this is some of his best work to date. Hassan is lettering the book again, Eisner winning letterer, and Tom Muller on the logos here. Oliver Barrett is an amazing cover artist that did our whole cover series, and this cover helped us to move a lot of this book for sure. But Frey Aswald is the heroine here, and we just saw the appetite in stores, especially in this marketplace right now, for just strong action stories. And we looked at Erica Slaughter and Something Is Killing the Children and how successful that has been. And we said, let's do something like that, a little bit different, a little different energy to this one. But fundamentally, I think that one of the reasons this has been really successful for us and successful for Dark Horse, one of their top creator-owned series last year, is because Frey's an easy character to connect with and get behind. She has a very complex story, but a very simple drive. She doesn't want to be controlled by her barbaric family, and she wants out. And after centuries, the war is on, so to speak. And so it's a really fun series, and it was a big hit for us. It was a huge sellout on the first issue, and it held fantastic. And we were really excited that Dark Horse believed in the series and has given us the go ahead to do more. But we are going to bring, you might have noticed, we're not just coming back with issue 6. We're going to do this. There it is. That's the new #1 for Kill All Immortals 2. We're basically going to do it as like seasons of television, so to speak. And we're going to do it so that new readers can come on board this if they did not pick up. So if you've heard about it and you're like, this sounds dope, but I never read it, dive in on this one. It sets up in a way that it grabs you from the go, but it gives you everything you need to know. And hopefully we'll do our jobs well, and you'll go, damn, that was so sick. I need to go get the trade, and I need to subscribe to the series. But it's done in a way that you don't have to go get the trade first. If you haven't read the first arc, you could dive in here if you want.
Yeah, I mean, and I got to point out, when you bring up FICO, I mean, you have always managed to work with some super brilliant artists. But I think Ossio might be the best, and he's already a talented artist on his own. With this combination, this is, I think, his best work ever. I thought No One Left to Fight was top tier Ossio. This brings it to a whole other level.
Yeah, and he's gotten a lot of recognition with DC because of it. I mean, he stands out. But I think, this is my first, Mathias, you've known me a long time, and I've done a lot of books. This is my first real action hero book. Like at Port of Earth, Mindset, Breakout, all these books had action, but they're not action hero books like this. This is an action hero book. This is adjacent to, if you're reading Marvel and DC and you're like, I just want action, I just want an action story, this is adjacent to that. And so this was my first time doing something like that. So it gave me the opportunity to go find a killer artist like Fico who draws action, and to say, okay, here's a scene where 2 immortal Vikings are fighting and all these great crazy things that happen, and he gets to show off and Thiago gets to show off. So it's really a perfect opportunity for him, and he absolutely kills it. I mean, his fight sequences are so cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously it's been a big hit for me, so I'll have to go do some more action after this. But yeah, it really there. Oh, so this is the that's it. We have 4 covers on Kill All Immortals 2. That is our most exclusive one. That's the Tula Lotte, and she's nominated right now for an Eisner for Best Cover Artist. So keep your eye on that one. The other 3 we have is Oliver Barrett's doing the whole A series again. We have an incredible, it's a red cover by Matt Taylor with our Frey on that. And then the third one is a John Jang cover, which I mean, if you like cover artists, and he's as hot as they come. So I'm very excited about the covers that we got for Kill All Mortals too. Four of them in total.
Yeah. And I mean, I gotta say, I love your John Wick comparative because it does feel like that. But here's the one problem. John Wick, his villains were never always super strong. So it was like just John Wick kicking everyone's butt. The thing I like about this is, well, Frey fits the role of John Wick if she is kicking everyone's butt. Her threat and her father, Eric the Red, was massive. Like that was, so Eric the Red, obviously, the main threat of Volume 1. What is the threat going into Kill All Immortals 2?
I don't know if I should say, but I mean, if you've read the first arc, it's very clear. We end the first arc on a huge cliffhanger. And spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear anything, mute it right now and cut, but there are other immortals in this world, and they find themselves going up against one of the most dominating warlords that has ever lived in the new arc. And I don't want to give it away, but it's quite a villain, and it hits right from go. The first issue is just bonkers, and then it just goes off the rails from there. It is so fun to expand this world. I cannot wait for readers to get their holds on this one. It's going to be October 1st. So it's right around the corner, right after summer, and it's great. It's I'm just so excited because it really is amazing seeing it come to life. We're watching it come to life right now. We're halfway through making the series, and it's so good.
Yeah. And again, that's the amazing thing I think with this is Frey is a total badass, you can make a comparison John Wick, but Wick has never went up against a true threat. Frey just keeps getting harder and harder, and she's going to, she's going to be winning by the skin of her teeth, but it's going to be badass every
Well, and the other thing, I'll tell you the complexity here, which is I love complex characters. Anyone who's read my work knows I do not love just two-dimensional characters. And so Frey's problem is she does not want to be barbaric. She does not want to be cutthroat. She does not want to be a billionaire. She does not want to compromise her ideals. She wants to be an ordinary good person. And she finds that she cannot do that and win the day. And so there's this sort of dark side component to it where it's like, in order to beat Darth Vader, does she have to become Darth Vader? It's that kind of thing. And that's what her father is pushing her. He's the whole time he's saying, you're a Viking. You got to be a Viking. You can't just be a. And I think that's something that's kind of intrinsic to all immortal stories. This kind of, do you want to be immortal? Do you want to act like a god, or do you want to be ordinary and be human? And so we've pulled it into this world, this kind of world as well. But yeah, it's not just fun to see. Will she survive the fight? But will she be worn down and forced to compromise her ideals in the process?
Absolutely. So, I mean, just 3 incredible series out this year. A powerhouse year for Mr. Kaplan, in the way of obviously Masterminds on FOC right now, Dark Empty Void, which you can go to your local comic shop. If they don't have it, you can get it ordered from the Incredible Mad Cave. And then, of course, Kill All Immortals. Get your Volume 1 right now. Get your orders in for Volume 2. You got a few months to do it, so there's no excuse not to give your comic shop the heads up. So, Zach, when people have read all this, tracked down all of your backlog of incredible stories that have already been published, where can they find you online to discover more?
I'm on Zack Caps on all social media platforms, and I have a website, zackkaplan.com.
All right, there you go. So definitely, this is a man worth paying attention to. I don't think he has ever put out a comic that wasn't 100% worth your time to read. Everything just sucks you in, and the crazy thing I love also about Zack stuff is it all has an ending. Like, you haven't really ever taken on an ongoing that that you just don't know where you're going. It all hits fast and hard with beginning, middle, end.
I learned I've done a dozen creator-owned books by this point, so I've now figured I've got it. So yeah, Masterminds is a 5-issue miniseries. It definitely hits. I mean, we knew going into Kill All Immortals that we had legs on that one. So that is, we were banking, and once we got the numbers on the first issue, we were like, all right, let's go. So yeah, I like to leave people with a bang at the ending, one way or the other. So so yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate all that.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. Remember, reach out to your local comic shop before Monday, July 21st. Get those FOC orders in, and then you get a lot of heads up and running time for those other upcoming projects like Kill
The
All.
last thing I just want to say real quick about Masterminds is we have a ton of fantastic riddles, puzzles, and challenges in this series, even in the first issue that you read. So we're kind of inviting all the readers not just to come and read the comic book, but pause when you get to that stuff and see if you're smart enough to play along. And I think that in that way, it's a game reading it in and of itself. So definitely some opportunities after you read the first issue to go, hey, what did you think the answer was to that riddle? Or I got that one right, but I didn't get this one. What do you think that's going to be? And just to give people a little bit more of an interactive experience on it.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to ask that question, but I did want to point out in the opening issue of Masterminds #1, when our protagonist gets to the first puzzle, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking in the background at those pictures, and I'm like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's intentional or just the artist messing around. And when the answer comes, it was a bit of a, okay, I didn't get there, but I was heading down that path.
Close.
Some of our readers will continue, and I'm hoping that continues each issue.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it does. And yeah, and if you're hearing this, you're like, I'm ordering it. Don't get sucked into the page turner nature of it. Pause and give yourself a second, see if you can figure it out. I'm excited, and then you can don't blow it on social media, but I'm sure we'd love to let us know. I got it.
They're going to be calling a phone number, just so you know.
We might put one in there. We'll see.
Was that your cell phone number?
No.
I do want to point out, I'm shocked you provided an answer that I don't know if you realized was not a 555 fake number.
No, it's not. It's not a 555 fake number. That's funny. Yep.
So, no, that was really awesome. Thank you so much, Zach. I hope everyone gets those orders in, and
everyone listening
for whatever the next big project is.
I'll come back and tell you all about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. All right, guys. So Mastermind, this one is such an exciting series. I swear you guys will be hooked in, I mean, especially, in comparatives to things like Squid Games. I know the new season came out. If you want something that's going to make Squid Games seem like nothing, but you will be addicted far more than you ever were to that Netflix series, Mastermind's the one to go. So have we sold you on it, Kyle?
Well, I was sold on it when I suggested we have Zach on the show.
It's valid. You're right. I gotta give that credit entirely to you.
For a long time, Zach has been one of those writers that I followed, probably since Port of Earth, because I recognized kind of the wizardry that was Port of Earth. And so as we've continued along that line, right, it's just gotten better and better and better and better and better and better. And like Kill All Immortals is in my top 10 of the last year. One of my favorite series because it doesn't go how you'd expect it to go. It's not predictable. It's not any of the things that, again, when you've been reading comics for nigh on 40 years, you get good at guessing. Right? It's why CB at Marvel thinks I'm a witch. You get good at guessing. And Kill All Immortals kept me guessing, and I wasn't guessing right. So very excited to have a volume 2. I do have a guess as to who the protagonist is, or the antagonist is, based on what he said and based on issue 1, or volume 1. But I'm going to be very excited when I'm wrong.
There you go. All right. Well, so we continue the rest of the comics from Penguin Random House on FOC this Monday, July 21st. All right. First off, as it made it into our top 10 last week. These Boom 20th anniversary variants are phenomenal. And while I love the Jay Lee stuff, Rebecca Puebla's have been amazing. Grimm last week made it into the top 10, and while Minor Arcana didn't, it was so close. That is an amazing, amazing cover featuring the tarot cards that define Jeff Lemire's Minor Arcana. I love this book. I'm loving that cover, so just had to spotlight it. And then, of course, you can see the wonderful Jeff Lemire incentive variant, which is a 1 in 10. Reach out to your local comic shop to see if they're getting it and what the price might be. But I've been loving the tarot card variants. So another one I got to talk up really quick. If you didn't read the first of the Monkey King and the World of Myths, this is a fun all ages one that does all of the Japanese lore. If you like Dragon Ball and want your kid to have something, if you just like that classic Journey to the West style tales, this takes a bit of a different route, but it has all sorts of great Chinese, Japanese, and other, mythos to it. Maple Lamb does an amazing job. Fun book that can be shared with younger readers. But I'm not going to lie, it's also fun as an adult to enjoy. We have a lot of great continuing series, all of which you can see at prhcomics.com. But one I want to take an aside for, because I know Kyle's going to want to talk about it. Have you looked at Alyssa Wong's incredible Psylocke series, particularly this cover A with our first appearance of the new White Lady?
Yeah. Well, and it's this idea of this is a first appearance, but when was the last time you saw a Psylocke cover that wasn't a 3/4 front with a good, nice cheek shot? Right? It's been years. It's been forever. And while those covers are gorgeous and they're a great representation of Psylocke, introducing a new character into a Psylocke story and introducing someone who seems to have the capability to really truly combat Psylocke, right? It's just like Flash and Anti-Flash almost, right? They're two sides of the same coin. And it seems to me like this is a great opportunity to, do some massive reconfiguring of the Psylocke mythos. It's become very, very, the same. And now you've got somebody who can really throw a wrench into it. And then in 10 years, you can make them a team, or you can Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy them, or whatever you want. But you got to have somebody who is on the same level as Psylocke to be able to do those kind of things. And so the White, come on. Yeah, the White Lady seems to have, or the Lady in White, sorry, seems to have that capability now.
Right. The Lady in White.
Yes.
Sorry, the White Lady is that classic cryptid-esque myth. My apologies.
Right. No, you're good. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Let me look at the piece of paper. But no, it's the Lady in White seems to have that capability. And at the same time, it's still traditional Psylocke. So if you like Psylocke, you're not missing out on anything. You're getting more of it. Yeah. So, and then, by the way, you have the gorgeous J. Scott Campbell JSC variants for this book, as well as a Corin Howell variant that's really nice too.
Yeah. I will never turn down anything Corin Howell. She is not only a delightful human being, but a super talented artist.
Yeah.
And then I wish we could be talking about Punisher Red Band, but this is just a poster on FOC, a beautiful poster, mind you, but something we get to talk about on a future show. So let's continue on. As I mentioned, Secret Wars, just getting bigger and better. With Secret Wars Battle World Omnibus Volume 2 on FOC this week to continue all those crazy, weird, conjoined world continental, separations in Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. But as Battle World is going to be getting a incredible new miniseries done by Christos Gage, I believe it is. All the more fun to get ahead on that and remind yourself leading into the film that this could be what it all ties into when we get our, what is that, 7th Avengers film, 6th Avengers film.
I don't know. 9 too many.
All right. So let's talk about something a bit different. Well, first, actually, let's talk about the fact that Spider-Man Noir is going to be an upcoming film starring Nicolas Cage. So if you haven't already read David Hines' Spider-Man Noir comics, you can get the trade paperback with all of them right now. That'll be very, very relevant in the near future with Nicolas Cage doing the live action movie. But
Are we
let's
ready
talk.
for something completely different?
I'm ready for something completely different.
And now for something completely different. And now for something completely different.
I really got to turn off the repeat feature on that thing, don't I?
There it is. I didn't realize we were reaching that AM radio host level, but I'm not going to complain. So,
Hey.
Star Trek. Oh, yeah! There it is. He's got the
We can
sound
do it.
ready now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Strange New Worlds. This is one of the fun ones because it actually has Strange New World TV show writer Robbie Thompson doing this. The Seeds of Salvation. If you are loving the Paramount TV series, the new continuation of all the fun that we love with Star Trek, here is some additional love with the Seeds of Salvation, the new Star Trek Strange New World series. You have incredible interior artwork by Travis Mercer, who did this amazing cover, so you can get an idea what the interior tastes like. This is going to be fun. I have nothing I can say other than this is going to be amazing. You know, I love Strange New Worlds photo variant. I believe that's the first photo variant possibly for Strange New Worlds. I can't recall if the previous one had
Seems
one.
right. Yes. Well, there have been some that have been very photorealistic. I will say that, but I think they've all been painted.
Yeah. So all sorts of fun there. And then if you're on the opposite side of the camp, you're like, I don't care about Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars fan. Personally, I'm both. You know, I have, my Star Wars and Star Trek behind me there. But Star Wars continuing on from Alex Segura and Phil Noto as we get this takes place after Return of the Jedi and we're moving forward. We find a message from the Clone Wars. So we're going to get that pullback in there too. And I love the idea of combining my Luke, Leia, and Han with the stuff I love from like all of that, Dave Filoni era animation. So this will be a very interesting one.
Real quick, Matthias, can we scroll up just a little to the Silent Blade?
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Book 1 of the Path of Darkness trilogy. It's part of the Legend of the Drizzt. I don't know how big of a D&D player everybody is, how big of D&D players are, but there has been a distinct lull in D&D mythos recently. For reasons, like they're perfectly reasonable, logical reasons, but to have a novel come out that is adding to the mythos is a big deal. And if you're into the real play kind of community, you know that this week we suffered the loss. Brennan Lee Mulligan has left Dropout and Dimension 20 to make American Girl doll shoes. So, like, we need to cling on to our tabletop RPG lore and mythos as much as possible right now. And the Silent Blade, as much as I don't know anything about R.A. Salvatore or this book, is one that I ordered because I need more Dungeons and Dragons in my life that isn't constantly changing.
Oh my God, this is going to blow your mind, Kyle. I am shocked to hear someone. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be shocked in this modern era. It's been a while since R.A. Salvatore was the top best-selling, author, and the Legend of Drizzt tales were all amazing. But Drizzt, the Dark Elf, one of the coolest fantasy characters ever. R.A. Salvatore, always a super brilliant always a super brilliant author who has just dragged me through the Underdark and into so many amazing tales. Drizzt and his large feline companion are going to floor you when you read this.
What I meant to say is I don't know what he's trying to do here.
Oh, okay.
Because Drizzt the Dark Elf is one of those characters that we don't play anymore for reasons. Like there's a whole episode of Community that you can't watch anymore because of Drizzt the Dark Elf.
I was wondering if you did that Jung, reference.
I'm just saying. So I'm excited that they're doing it. I'm excited that there's more mythos. I am excited that it's R.A. Salvatore. But I don't know what's happening here. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. So there we go. If you guys did not get the Silent Blade. consider it, because if you look, the entire trilogy is on FOC. There's the Spine of the World as well, but the entire Darkness trilogy of those classic R.A. Salvatore Drizzt novels are
But at
getting
the same
released
time,
back.
these are books that were not previously that available to local comic shops.
They were
They were
not. That part is
primarily book market stories or books. You know, they were, you'd have to go to a Barnes and Noble or a Walden Books back in the day. I think that's where I got my first one. Like, you'd have to go to a traditional brick and mortar bookstore to get them. Now they can be in the LCS right next to the D&D 5e core rule book and all that kind of stuff, and it really does help to grow your community at your local comic shop when you can provide things for gamers, when you can provide things for pros fans, sci-fi fans, and you have these great stories about this character that was very beloved for a long time.
Yeah, I love it.
Can I make another joke?
All right. Where is it going?
Well, the in between Star Wars and TMNT is Sweet Heat Before Falling in Love, the CEO and his Fated Omega. If you've been on the internet, you know about the CEO and his Fated Omega that got caught at a Coldplay concert, and I just think it's funny.
Well, there you go. There you go. I don't know if that is one of the Alpha and Omega, manga that have been taking the manga world by storm, but definitely an interesting.
Definitely a spicy book.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Yeah, it's part of the Steam ship.
Well,
So let's go to. Well, I would like to argue more all ages, but I don't know. But when Jason Aaron relaunched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Turtles were not together. We had to piece them bit by bit and get them all back together. And now they're so together, they're sharing a prison cell. So what happens when the Turtles and Casey Jones are locked away? Well,
ooh, I know.
Have to play.
But maybe just because I've read issue 12. Anyway, I know.
Yeah, so this is exciting because we're gonna have April O'Neil taking the role of Casey Jones. Has that ever happened before in Turtles history?
Not to my knowledge, not off the top of my. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I don't want to say no because there's some of that Archie stuff, some of that Nickelodeon Turtles stuff that like was a little higgledy-piggledy in my memory, but I don't remember her ever putting on the hockey mask. That said, I do not want to know how she's going to handle that hockey stick. It is going to be very, very scary.
Yeah.
She's going to destroy many things.
Yeah. But there's quite a bit of Turtles left. Now, definitively in all ages one, TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures issue 28 is also on FOC. I cannot deny my love for that video game variant right there with Bebop and Rocksteady because I can't tell you how many hours of my youth I spent playing TMNT video games, especially at arcades. So seeing Shredder and Krang going at it, especially with the soda pop on top of the console, that's awesome.
Right?
But
I
then
bought the Switch, and the only game I bought was the new Turtles game, and I'm like, man, I wish I had an arcade cabinet.
Yeah, I'm fighting myself because I do not have the money to spend on an arcade cabinet, but you have no idea how much I have been tempted seeing customers and friends rocking TMNT arcades at their house. Yeah. My youth screams at my older self to be less responsible with my money. Now, I mean, we say that like I'm responsible with my money,
Yeah, but you have a child to make sure like has clothes and food and stuff. Unlike me, who has me and will be buying a Turtles in Time cabinet in the near future.
See, I thought you were going to tell me, well, you have a child, he needs TMNT arcades.
I mean, he does. I would advocate for Winter getting one, but like at the same time, like I'll just not eat for a month and get my Turtles cabinet.
This is why we all have to worry about Kyle always. He will make those decisions, and I don't doubt he is not joking. So, on that note, one more TMNT. We're 3 for 3, back to back Turtles books, and this one features my favorite Turtle character ever, Shredder. There is but one character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he is not the turtle. He is the true hero of the comics, in my opinion, and that is Master Shredder. Shredder is back, and life is not looking great for the villain. Let's be honest. As the Foot Clan isn't really around in its traditional form. So Shredder is going to have to go underground and deal with some major threats in this new ongoing from Dan Waters. Dan has done some amazing stuff. He's done everything from Doctor Who to Nightwing. And man, his Nightwing has been amazing. He's been doing Batman. I want to say Dark Patterns was Dan Waters, but TMNT Shredder, could not be better. Could not be better. I am all for it. Look at that stunning Kale New cover. This is going to be awesome.
Well, and I like the Daike Ruan cover is really cool too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say even one of these might make it to our top 10.
At 250. But hey, let's throw a third Turtles book on there with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the IDW Collection, Volume 4. There are Turtles books from the IDW years.
Right here, sir.
Volume 7, sorry. I'm looking at my Volume 4 sitting across from me here. But there are books from this TMNT run from IDW that are getting harder and harder to get. They're getting snapped up. They're getting stored. They're getting, they're books that were minor key stories in the Turtles lore. And so this is an easy way and a relatively affordable way at $40 to pick up a volume of Turtle stories. And you're looking at 51 through 64. So you're coming up on some of the these stories where the mutant bomb happens and we're getting new mutants. And
right after the death of Shredder, unfortunately, but the rise of some amazing characters, including the character who would become the fifth turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
this has Spider Island in it.
Yeah.
So that was such a great storyline with Leatherhead and all of those guys. So this story, this volume will be good. It will have a lot of interesting things that will set up volume 7, 8, 9, or 8, 9, 10, and getting into the new stories there. I do want to point out that this book has been, I do believe, previously published exclusively as a hardcover.
Yes.
And this is the paperback release. So remember, you're getting an omnibus-sized paperback here.
Yeah, I mean, because in those hardcovers, not only were they pricey books upon release, they are definitely pricey on the aftermarket. So this is a very cool way.
They were $70 new, something like that. Yeah. And if you're trying to buy them off of the secondary market, you're looking at, in the neighborhood of $100, $120.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus, Mathias Santalocco, who I'll talk about a little bit more later, if that doesn't reveal my entire hand, one of the greatest Turtles artists ever, and definitely the coolest guy to ever draw Shredder.
Yes. Although, don't let Kevin Eastman hear me say that.
Yeah. I own a Kevin Eastman Shredder piece. I can't deny my absolute love for Kevin's, Shredder, but I do love Mathias so much. So, all right. Well, again, a lot of great continuing series. Venom gets a Black, White, and Blood series. This one, I'm just shocked by some of the big names they have on there. Speaking of Turtles, you have David Wachter doing artwork, but David Michelin writing, who's one of the original creators to work on Venom. You have J.M. DeMatteis, who has done some of the most powerful Spider-Man stories in existence. Who else is on this incredible things? Ryan North, who's been kicking butt on all of the Fantastic Four through Star Trek Lower Decks, along with Kreese Lee. As always, these Black, White, and Blood miniseries are always great because they're just an all-star set of creators that normally you probably couldn't get to sit down and do an entire miniseries or one shot. But that's why we love these anthology books. It is the who's who of what we wish were the creative teams on these books. And also sometimes just people who you wouldn't expect on these characters, but have come up with an amazing story that only gets to be, unfortunately, around 8 pages, but it's still an amazing 8 pages. So, last big one I want to talk about on Penguin Random House before we go to a commercial break is the Age of Apocalypse. If you weren't aware, we talked about it last week with the Age of Revelation. Hopefully, your store got in or is going to be getting in Age of Revelation issue number zeros, so you can read about this upcoming Age of Apocalypse. But Jeff Loeb returns us to the Age of Apocalypse in X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha, and it picks up right where the Age of Apocalypse left off, which is a powerhouse move in itself, sending us back 30 years almost to the month. There are 1.5 million amazing covers, as you can see on this. Just absolutely brilliant pieces there. One of them definitely makes it to our top 10. Love the Peach Momoko and Scotty Young as well. But this is going to be fun. Anyone who has been sitting on their love of the Age of Apocalypse over the last 3 decades, or maybe even less if they discovered it, more recently or younger, this is going to be a great revival of some awesome character variations and storytelling. I mean, I will always remember in my youth reading Age of Apocalypse. I don't know about you, Kyle. But...
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I loved Age of Apocalypse, but this book has Age of Revelation stink on it and the mismanagement of that whole launch. And so, meh to it.
So you're going to begrudgingly pick it up, you mean to say?
No, I'm probably just going to keep my originals.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
I'm just not going to sell them. I was thinking about selling them and picking up the new ones, but I'm just going to keep them now out of spite.
Also, what I just need to point out there's a facsimile edition of the VR Troopers Power Rangers flip book, which I want to point out, in my youth, I never considered the VR Troopers book. I always considered it just the Ninja Rangers, Power Rangers book. The VR Troopers was the other side. Clearly, it was a Power Rangers book. But it was a very key book. I mean, I love the Ninja Rangers era of Super Sentai Power Rangers in the 90s. And this is one of the things that got me into VR Troopers. I'm not going to lie. The series had already been on air for a little bit, and I just ignored it, thinking it was, it wasn't Power Rangers. It was Power Rangers adjacent, and that comic did change my mind, and I went back and really enjoyed VR Troopers. So whether you're a hardcore VR Troopers fan looking for a good classic, or maybe you're a Power Rangers fan who hasn't tried, who hasn't been sucked in by Power Rangers Prime yet to check out the new VR Troopers that dropped 2 weeks ago, this could be the book that does it for you. And I mean, classic facsimile, so it has that cool style in the way that it used to be. I can't remember who originally published this. I want to say it was Marvel, but I don't think that's right.
It doesn't sound right.
Greg, if he's in the comments, will shout at me like, "This is the publisher." But I love this brand new variant. Again, the reason I'm not a huge fan of facsimiles on reprints, I like seeing new covers, on reprints. I will always love the Todd McFarlane era of Marvel Tales or the Eric Larson era of Marvel Tales, where you're getting reprints of classic, Spider-Man, stories, but with new artwork. This is, in my opinion, far better than a facsimile. Seeing this incredible new cover by Caleb Valerio with our ninja version of the White Ranger and our VR Trooper combo, And it works as a flip book in a literal sense, because instead of flipping it upside down to read the other story, you're just flipping it to see the protagonist you want to see on there. But obviously, Boom takes a stance. It's the VR Troopers over Power Rangers. For me, it will always be the Power Rangers VR Trooper flip book. So as always, I want to point out that is a ratio variant. So reach out to your local comic shop and see if they're ordering it. I'd say a 1 in 5, there's a good chance they are. And just ask how much it'll cost. But with that said, Kyle, I don't know about you. I think we take a quick commercial break before we return with all of the DC Image, Dynamite, and more at Lunar Distribution.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do it.
Although I wasn't really prepared for that. So now we'll do this.
You subtly try and preload these things on live television when you
I really do. And then I start feeling weird and I lose focus. So now we're in a commercial.
Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. to be doing anything. The fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience.
Twitch. It's not just what happens when you have too many energy drinks anymore. Check out our content over there, too.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are talking about all the comics on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, July 21st. And we're about to go take a trek over to lunardistribution.com, your home for incredible publishers like DC, Image, Oni, Mad Cave, Dynamite, and more. I mean, Lunar is really the big new distributor. While Penguin Random House might be one of the largest book distributors in the world, Lunar is the tour de force powerhouse of comic distribution in North America. And their website, very easy to navigate because you just go to lunardistribution.com, scroll down a few small steps to upcoming FOC, and you'll see there it is, July 21st, where we start off with Absolute Batman number 11 and Bane looking even bigger than Batman. I mean, Bane's always been bigger than Batman, but have you seen how big the Absolute Batman is? He's absolutely huge. I'm waiting for the long groan to come out of Kyle over that joke.
No, I was just thinking about there's a theory out there. Brock Lesnar, the wrestler and MMA fighter's daughter, is dating a rookie offensive guard from the San Francisco 49ers. And the theory is that when they have kids, that kid will be Bane.
There you go. I mean, but will he just rock that out?
Well, he probably won't need the weird chemicals to stay alive and mask and talk like this, but
I only hope he talks.
He'll be colossal.
Yeah. So Absolute Batman, always great. We don't have to talk too much on that because everyone knows it's amazing. For those of you guys who are coming off of the Superman movie high from James Gunn, if you haven't checked out Action Comics, that's going to be your classic Superboy tale done ever so wonderfully by Mark Waid. It is young Clark, I want to say in Smallville, but obviously, as you get to see in the solicit for this issue, he's going to make his Metropolis debut here. Beautiful, beautiful Dyke Ruan negative space cover, as that is becoming the trend everyone is loving on comic covers recently. From David Nakayama to John Tyler Christopher, now we got Dyke Ruan doing this amazing style. And look, that's pretty damn great right there, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I am the fan of the 1 in 25. Not every comic shop's going to be getting it, but nothing beats a good crypto cover. Speaking of good covers, I really wonder if I'm the only one who did this, but Aquaman 8, the Edwin Gallman, I had a brief moment, I hate to admit, where I'm like, wow, Arthur Curry's butt on this cover. Oh, wait, that's Mara. I thought it was Aquaman for a brief second. I completely caught me off guard.
I have to check. I think I have somewhere a T-shirt that I could put up on the EXP merch store that's Arthur Curry's Sushi Restaurant.
Huh. That sounds like an interesting one. So again, showing off for everyone, the access of Scholastic books now to the direct comic market. Not every comic shop always had a Scholastic account. So, great one to point out is the Babysitters Club line. The first 4 volumes were on Lunar a little while ago. Now we have volumes 5 through, I believe, 9. So if you have a young reader in mind, perhaps you are a young reader at heart or in actual age, at which point maybe this isn't the greatest show for you to be watching. Babysitters Club is going to be available to every comic shop with a Lunar account now, which will hopefully bring it to a new, wider audience and continue to improve all ages sections all across North America.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, Matthias, because you probably don't listen to Weird 90s Recap podcasts like I do. Larissa Olenek just confirmed that they are working on a 30th anniversary reunion of the Babysitters Club, whether it be a short film or a feature or something they just do for a convention. They are all of the original actresses and actors from that movie that are still around are talking about doing something to celebrate the anniversary of the movie.
You know, that has never been something I thought we needed, but I wouldn't necessarily turn down watching it. Yeah.
Right, especially at our age, and it's a Larissa Olenek.
Yeah. So speaking of comics for a certain age, and hopefully that age is all, Batman Ego. This is going to collect the incredible Darwin Cook story along with other stories. It has an all-star cast of, Darwin Cook on both writing and art, Jimmy Palmiotti, Paul Grist, Jeff Loeb, Amanda Connor, like Tim Sale, Jay Bone. Like, this is everyone that is amazing in comics. $40 hardcover with over 70 pages of additional material. Darwin Cook and Tim Sale alone were both just legends who did some brilliant DC and specifically Batman stories. And it is unfortunate they're not with us, but I am glad that their legacy lives on in new collections from DC Comics. So even though I probably own most of this original content, I am 100% buying this hardcover and sharing it with everyone. This is going to be a fun one and well worth being on your radar if you don't, even if you do already own this stuff. It is amazing. Continuing onward, if you missed out on Benjamin, there's a good reason why this is hitting a third printing. Oni Press has a crazy story from Ben H. Winters in this, and it is well worth your attention. Very meta, very Philip K. Dick, if you will. Then, if you missed out on Post Malone's Big Rig, and to be honest, I'd be a little shocked if you did and really wanted to grab it, there is a second printing on FOC along with issue number 2. A lot of great covers on there. Dan Panozzi and kicking butt at the ratios. You have the slightly more expensive yet nevertheless amazing Peach Momoko cover. I know that is going to be a great seller. And for those of you guys who are just crazy, Vault is double dipping with their big bundle boxes. Yes, that random bundle box is back. I still don't understand exactly what's in it. Apparently, you're getting 10 comics of various variants, even though there seems to be less than 10 variations. I don't understand how this works. I don't know, Kyle. I actually only know of one person who ordered this. I really hate to, down this, because if it's your thing, it's your thing. Order it from your shop. Let them know you want it. But
I don't even know that many people who ordered it. But when they do these boxes, usually there's stuff in there that is exclusive to the boxes, right? Yeah. Usually there's a level of loot cratiness to it.
There is.
So I'm not angry at it. But again, I don't really need a comic book written by or about or starring or associated with Post Malone right now. If it was present Malone or even future Malone, I would be in it. But Post Malone, I'm out.
I will disagree on that. Best I can say, when his music comes on the radio, I enjoy it. I haven't really ever, I hate to say, sought out Post Malone.
Right.
I appreciate his involvement in this industry because
I don't change the channel.
Yeah.
But
he's a geek. He's a Pokemon fan. He's a Magic the Gathering fan. He's a comic fan. He has promoted all these parts of this industry And I appreciate him immensely for that. But then on top of that, I get customers who come in Post Malone shirts, who came from Post Malone concerts, and check out his social media and come into my shop and buy things because he talked about it. Oh my God, the Lord of the Rings that we sold because of Post Malone, and not just because it was Lord of the Rings, Magic the Gathering, but Pokemon when he did his Pokemon concert. But I did people who came in to the shop and bought issue number 1 because Post Malone talked about it, which is great. I'm all for the Post Malone of this. But yeah, the box, which by the way was limited to 1,000, as you can see in the original solicitation, is now limited to 3,000 copies. I'm most curious if allocations did occur on issue number 1 or if they're still available for order. But yeah, this is definitely something where if you want to know more about it, read the solicitation information. Please reach out to your local comic shop and inquire to see if they're even getting it or what the story is going to be on how they handle it. If they're opening them and selling the variants individually or what is going on, because I hate to say, I just don't understand this one. I'm sure I'll get a phone call from David Desoniak at some point, one of the head of sales at Vault, and he'll just be yelling at me like, how do you not understand it? This is exactly what it is. At which point I welcome that call, because maybe when they do it for issue number 3, I will understand. But Big Rig variant bundle box. On to things I can more confidently talk about. Have you seen Birds of Prey by Gail Simone is getting an omnibus? This is my favorite era of Birds of Prey. Some of the best Birds of Prey stories ever put out. And I mean, Kelly Thompson's writing Birds of Prey right now, and it is pretty top tier. But the Gail Simone era of Birds of Prey was a bar-setting high standard. And you're going to get almost 40 issues of comics in this amazing collection. Amazing, amazing stuff. Some major first appearances in there. Incredible interior artwork by, Joe Bennett, Ed Benez, Nicholas Scott. Great stuff. So definitely worth paying attention to. Blood and Thunder continues rolling out from Skybound Comics. We also have the Bruce Dickinson's Mandrake Project getting a hardcover, which might be the better way to collect this because it had such huge gaps between the single issues, and their unique square-bound shape made it very hard to store in nice condition. Hardcover will make that a lot easier. Did you get a chance to read Bruce Dickinson's Mandrake Project, Kyle?
I did. And, again, you don't really have to sell me on Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Right? So I was into it. I will say, we were talking about this before the show. The thing about Z2 Comics, guys, is you're ordering this now, and it'll come out here. So just know you need to order it early because they're cutting their print runs real tight. This book, doesn't exist other places, so they're going to make just as numbered they need, as many or as few as they need to. So if you don't order it, the chances are you ain't getting it.
Yeah, I am shocked to see that they're claiming an August 6th in-store date. And here's hoping they might just hit that, and that'd be great. Keep in mind this will be the first 4 issues along with the prologue that was originally only in a vinyl set, and you get an intro by Kurt Sutter. I love Kurt Sutter from Sons of Anarchy through his various other incredible films and TV shows. What was the one with Michael Chiklis again? But yeah, it'll be interesting. Definitely fun. We have Captain Planet continuing on with news of the recent live action movie that will be coming out on Captain Planet. So definitely worth paying attention to David Pepos's incredible Captain Planet.
Why is it I can never think of the Captain Planet theme song, but every time we talk about Captain Planet here, dun Captain Planet, dun.
Well, how I can't even make a good Inspector Gadget joke. There we go. Let's talk about Cemetery Kids Run Rabid. Following up the Cemetery Kids Don't Die, this is about a world where you play video games in your sleep. And as you can say from so many anime and manga, getting sucked into a video game is a frightful possibility. that we are just getting closer and closer to. The more people put on full-on goggles and headsets, augmented reality, and AI involvement. So Cemetery Kids deals with that. The idea of a video game you play in your sleep and it sucks you in. Now, if you didn't read the first series, the trade paperback should be available now from Oni Press. And it is dark. It is twisted. It is haunting. And the new series looks to be even more so. Following up Cemetery Kids Don't Die, the kids are not in a good state. The kids aren't all right, if I can steal that lyric. But they're, I guess, foolish enough to dive back into that video game world. And things obviously are not going to get better. They're going to get darker as things upgrade. So if you want an intense horror in video games, you have the comic Masterminds, which is going to be about the people making the video games. And then you have Cemetery Kids Run Rabid for the people who are playing the video games. Again, haunting book. The artwork is just dark and twisted. It gives you this misleading feel that this might be a book for all ages. It is absolutely not. This is a dark, mature tale, and it'll suck you in and haunt you. I think the one thing I do love about the Cemetery Kids series is that the dialogue feels really like being in high school. It doesn't try and PG it. This is kids who are cursing and, talking about, the video games and real life and relationships and all that. There's bullying. I mean, this doesn't pull your after school special version of high school. This is no John Hughes version of high school. This is what it would be like probably going to a high school in real life right now. But yet you're getting this dark, mature tale that is a haunting horror. And if this doesn't end up somehow becoming a film or TV series, I will be shocked. So Zach Thompson kicking butt on that. A couple different crazy covers you can order right now. Speaking of crazy covers, Conan number 23. About a week or two ago, we had to FOC the foil and glow-in-the-dark covers. But it seems like Titan went all out on issue 23. I don't know if you've taken a look at these covers yet, Kyle, but Conan 23 has an all-star series. From Dan Panosian and Greg Staples to the incredible Joel Gomez of La Muerta fame and Sweeney Boo. This is just like some superstar cover artists on Conan that are not people I would have ever thought to be drawing Conan covers. Fun stuff. Gives you a lot of ordering options. So take a look. All right. One I got to talk about. Have you heard about Dracula's Brunch Club?
Yeah, but Dracula at brunch is just fried people.
Well, in a real world, maybe. Well, real world. In a darker horror film world. But in this amazing all ages book, you are getting a Dracula prior to vampires drinking blood. For instead, as you can get a hint from that cover, they like to drink that blood orange jelly at the center of a delicious jelly-filled donut. Because Dracula is a chef who loves his brunch club. Unfortunately, when Constantine comes in and gets involved, he starts turning the vampire's loyalty over to him. And it will lead to a shortage of those delicious jelly donuts that might drive these vampires into sucking blood. It is an interesting, it is a goofy, it is amazing all ages book by Brian Gonsar and Keenan Gaba. It even has an odd and unexpected foreword from Kevin Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. But this is just a fun all ages gooftacular book. And I'm amused. I hate to say it, but I am all in on this goofy, vampire twist. So Dracula's Brunch Club, something to consider. Then, of course, if you want darker vampires, nothing beats Karina Becko's Blood Type, the incredible EC horror series, the first mini-series EC has done that is not a horror anthology. It is a horror mini-series focusing on one story and character. Karina Becko is definitely earning this with some amazing storytelling of what is scarier than a vampire. Free Planet, I actually have to read a quote on this because Free Planet is absolutely amazing. Aubrey Sitterson is telling such a crazy story about what it is like to have a government of free people and truly define how difficult that can be. Him and Jed Doherty have been putting an amazing storytelling. But I actually had a customer give me a quote, or rather, he didn't give me a quote, so I'm going to be reading this without his permission. Sorry, Mr. Tyree. But Dr. Tyree here wrote, Free Planet is the most layered, ambitious comic I have read in years, maybe ever. Aubrey should be very proud. It needs 2 or 3 reads to get it, at least for me. But like it is intense. It is quite literally a super thought-provoking, deep-thinking comic. This is Aubrey at a whole other level. I mean, like it's crazy to think this is the guy who is bringing us GI Joe and Beef Bros and No One Left to Fight. Because as much as I love those comics, this is like a whole other psychological level, and yet absolutely amazing. We actually had the pleasure of interviewing Aubrey Sitterson on FOC for Free Planet #1. You can go back on the EXP's YouTube channel to watch that. He even gave previews all the way for issue #3. Now we're in new territory with issue #4, and I expect it is only going to get more and more intense. I mean, have you been keeping up with Free Planet, Kyle?
I have not. I read #1. I have #2 in my TBR, and I've ordered #3.
Well, there you go.
It's one of those that I really love #1, but I got a little behind to start, and so now getting caught up seems like maybe something to wait to do until the first volume's over.
Now that comes from the man who is the busiest man in comics. So a lot of great continuing DC series, as you'll see. Another Z2 book we have to spotlight is Gwar, The Return of Gorgor. This has me beyond excited. Everyone loves Gwar. Everyone, let's just be honest. And this ridiculous, fun-sounding trade paperback is going to be a unique bit of Gwar flavor you can see from the very cover to what you can only imagine once it comes out the interior pages will be. We have a lot of fun continuing series, as I said, so make sure you check out lunardistribution.com to see all of them. Final issues of I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer, which has just been a runaway hit. If you have not been checking it out, reach out to your local comic shop and let them know. Same with Invincible Universe Battle Beast. Thankfully, the issue #1 is hitting a 4th printing with yet another cover. I personally don't know that I love Skybound going this crazy on multiple printings because it is new for Skybound. I used to love when Walking Dead and Invincible didn't have variants, didn't have a lot of printings. But the one thing I will give them credit, they are making it so you can always track down these books. And for you collectors, you can buy 10 million covers because every printing has a new cover. So beautiful new piece there by Andrea Milana. Battle Beast doing what he does best, ripping things apart. I'm sure, Kyle, you have a lot to say about this Love Struck #2 variant. Should I just bring up this B cover right here, like that classic homage?
I would say the classic one is definitely the Blues Brothers here. But the thing about Love Struck, and this is after I read #1, I think I have to get all the covers. They're all great. There isn't a miss here.
Yeah. Now, if you guys didn't get a chance, also, I can tell you that Kyle interviewed Don Hanfield about 3 weeks ago, I want to say, on the FOC show.
When you were in Vegas.
Yeah, so 3 or 4 weeks ago. So go check out that on our YouTube here at the XP if you haven't, because that will drag you fully in love into this new series, which is more than you can say for the protagonist. Those of you getting ready for Peacemaker Season 2 out next month, so is the final issue of Peacemaker Presents the Vigilante Eagle League double feature, co-written by James Gunn himself. So make sure you grab that, as that will walk you right into Season 2. and might even have pseudo tie-ins to that wonderful Superman movie in theaters right now. And as all of you guys are enjoying summer, why not get some great summer reading in the way of Powerpuff Girls Supervillain Summer Spectacular? Everything from Mojo Jojo to him himself or theirself. All sorts of fun there. Written by James III, not to be confused with James Tynion IV. This has a series of great artists, great stories, and great girls with a little bit of Chemical X. Now, once again, a lot of wonderful continuing series that you can see when you check out Lunar Distribution. But one of the last big ones we got to talk about is the relaunch of Space Ghost. Yes, Space Ghost is back with a brand new #1, Pipos and Jonathan Lau, and we're going to get the first appearance of an iconic Space Ghost villain in comic form. Look at that insane Matina cover. I mean, it does not get better. I'm sure Kyle is absolutely loving and adoring Space Ghost. So,
well, hashtag not my Space Ghost.
Really?
I was a Space Ghost Coast to Coast guy. I'm a funny Space Ghost. Not necessarily super serious Space Ghost. However, I'm loving the cover work that's been done on this Space Ghost series and the previous Space Ghost series. And David Pepose writes such an incredible story and does so good with this nostalgia stuff that it's been hard for me to not like it.
I have been a classic Space Ghost fan, even though I enjoyed my Coast to Coast era too, for ages. And I am full in with the new series. Pepose has been doing a great job. And yes, you're right. The covers, everything from Jay Lee to Matina, Alex Ross, Michael Cho, Bjorn Barends, they've all been absolutely amazing. Declan Shavvy's done some in the past. One of these definitely made it to the top 10. I will say that.
Right. That's the thing I will say consistently about Dynamite. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like I'm saying 2 + 2 is a can of chicken soup, but Dynamite can put out books I don't want to read, but the art gallery is so impressive, I still want to buy.
Yeah. And I mean, with 28 covers on this issue alone, there's a lot to buy, and that's not including potential retailer exclusives.
Right.
All right. So continuing on, Spawn, Supergirl, all fun, but one of the big ones is Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo are the iconic team that have been bringing you the horror anthology Ice Cream Man. And now they're going to give you a tale of Superman as he discovers 4 new kryptonites. But as we know, green kryptonite poisons Superman, and some of the other ones have different effects. But when you discover new variations of kryptonite, how do you know how they'll affect Superman? W. Maxwell Prince has a very interesting take on it as we see this new spectrum of kryptonite and exactly how those are going to affect Superman. This is a unique team, but they are an amazing team that have provided some unbelievable comics over at Image. I am very excited to see how everyone will perceive this run on Superman. All right. Transformers 23, the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's epic 24-issue run of Transformers, right there. Tom King's Trinity, perhaps one of the best DC books coming out in an era where there are so many amazing DC books. But yes, I somehow have to find Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman, above even the absolute titles, in my personal opinion. Unchosen, which if you didn't grab issue #1 by the incomparable David Marquez, yes, David Marquez of Uncanny X-Men is doing this new Image miniseries, and it is phenomenal. Go grab issue #1 that came out last week or 2 weeks ago, and then get your order in for issue #2. all sorts of fun there and trades and a lot. But I think we're coming towards the end of our show. We need to get to the top 10, don't we, Kyle?
We really do.
All right. Well, let's dive into it.
I think people are going to really like this top 10.
All right. So number 10 is another Rian Gonzalez paper doll cover. The only thing that is not making these my favorite thing in the world is that 1 in every 7 of them, it seems like DC decides to make a 1 in 25 ratio variant, making it too hard for people to collect. So once again, DC, if you're listening, I say this every time, stop it. Just stop it. Make them open order covers so we can all enjoy Rian Gonzalez's incredible paper dolls, especially with Star Sapphire and the cute little chibi Green Lanterns right there. Those are amazing.
Also, put trade dress on it.
Yes.
Something. Minimal trade. Something. So I know which book it is when Mathias sends it to me.
Yeah. That just is a matter of DC uploading the proper file. But yes, beautiful nevertheless. In spot number 9, once again, it's the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. So, of course, you have to have Daniel Warren Johnson's cover that has such an Iwo Jima style, flag raising. It is stunning. I mean, you just see Optimus there just barely standing, but doing what he does best. And the contents of this, as we deal with the what is the Matrix? The Matrix of Leadership? I'm going to screw that up entirely. But this is going to be good. I cannot wait to see how Daniel Warren Johnson brings an end to his epic Transformers run of the past 2 years. Then, returning to the Age of Apocalypse, Joe Mad. Look at that. I will always iconically think of 2 things when it comes to the Age of Apocalypse, and that is Blink and one-handed Wolverine. Joe Mad doing the one-handed Wolverine is what pulls me back to the Age of Apocalypse era. I am all in on that cover in spot 8. Spot 7, Mateus Santalocco, the man who draws Shredder best. I loved him when he did the Untold Tales of the Foot Clan and several other incredible pieces. Now we get that foil cover. Think about that. All that metal on Shredder just shining in foil. That one's going to be awesome. Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. Of course, we have to spotlight the Martin Morazzo cover because Martin Morazzo has given us so many iconic Ice Cream Man covers and great nods. This is such a Ice Cream Man take on Superman. This is what I think is going to drag Image readers who love Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo into DC. Dune, Edge of the Chris Knife, Rage of Shai Hulud. This is a stunning cover right there. Shai Hulud in the background, the great sandworm of Arrakis, just bursting out of the sand. This is awesome. It just has me so hyped to see this war against the Harkonnens. Then, this is an interesting one. I'm very curious to go to your note, Kyle, of DC uploading logos. I love covers where the characters interact with the logo, whether they're breaking the logo or cracking the logo or bursting out of the logo, lifting up the logo in a classic Hulk-esque, nod. I don't want to call it an homage, but a nod on this one. Chris Burnham has an amazing piece here, and I only hope that, like the 1 in 25, we will see the full trade dress of Absolute Batman in the chest piece of Absolute Batman that Chris Burnham's Batman is holding up.
Batman icon is so unique to this book that it almost serves as trade dress in and of itself.
It does. I mean, if this was a Virgin cover, I'd give it to them. But if they screw up and make this a minimum trade dress and put the title on the side somewhere, I'm going to be so disappointed when that the logo right there in the center. But I love this cover. That is just Burnham at his best. Then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 11, Ferreira's incredible cover of April O'Neil as Casey Jones with the mask, with the hockey stick. I can hear the phrase in my head. This is awesome. Just iconic. I have to own that cover.
Very much.
Then we get Alex Ross, who is one of the biggest Space Ghost fans out there. He's been doing Space Ghost at DC, at Top Cow. He loves his Space Ghost, so I love that he is back doing the new Space Ghost number 1 at Dynamite. Just an amazing cover in all ways. But our big one, our number one, is Stephen Thompson's Masterminds. I mean, you just look at that cover, it is phenomenal. It'll pull you in. And then here's the fun thought. That's what every single panel looks like, because this is the interior artist too. If you think this cover is dragging you in to open it, just it is going to lead you along with Zach's incredible captions, word bubbles, and writing. This is an amazing series. There's a reason we brought Zach on. Mastermind is going to be a hit. It is going to make you want to read every single one of the 5 issues of this miniseries from Dark Horse. You need to give it a shot. You need to tell your local comic shop you want to order it. Look at that cover and just imagine every single panel, all of those pages filled with art on that quality, with the subtle things. I don't even notice in all that amazing art if you noticed the silhouette of our protagonist falling there. But this is an amazing cover that just leads into amazing
I
series.
didn't see it until just now. Like I had it up for how long earlier and I didn't notice it. So
yeah, it's a brilliant cover. It just is amazing. So, yep. So that was our top 10. Remember to get your orders in before Monday, July 21st to your local comic shop. The sooner you get them in, the better, and the more your local comic shop will love you, as they love getting orders and knowing what you want and what to get you. So it is waiting for you when you go to your local comic shop to pick it up in 3 to 6 weeks. Now, with that said, Kyle, what else do we have on the EXP today?
Well, tonight at 7, we've got Nikki's original art show. He's got a ton of art to show you guys, even more than last week somehow. And then after him, Nancy will have the age of we botched this launch from Marvel, number 0, available on the show, plus her normal mix of vintage and modern books. Depending on what's happening on Sunday, I may or may not be here doing a live sale. Then Monday, we'll be back with Comic Collectibles. And then again, depending on what's happening on Monday, second shift lunch and Best Coast Comics with Bronze and Bigby. Tuesday, we'll have Mrs. Skimmett and Welcome to Wonderland. I think it's DC Work Week. And then on Kicking It with Andre will be back from Miami from Comic-Con. So he will have some new stuff to show you. Wednesday will be Comic Collectibles again, and then Jay and I doing Kyle and Jay's Q&A, where we come up with a topic to talk about. Thursday, Liam is filling in for Miss Jen, who will be at Comic-Con in San Diego doing her live sale. So that will be an interesting show, to say the least. Then myself and a friend will be sitting in for the Geek Chat, as they will be seeing Fantastic Four on Thursday night. Then Mel and Mog will be back Thursday night with SketchUp. They will have great artists there on SketchUp. So tune in for all the things. Be watching our social media. We've got merch drops. We've got all kinds of things happening. And we will keep you informed as to what's going on.
Absolutely. Now, I unfortunately will not be here next week because I will be in meetings with Comics Pro Lunar and PRH at San Diego Comic-Con.
But I'll be here.
Are you're going to be here, Kyle?
Yeah, I'll be here. We'll have a Legally Not Mathias FOC show with a guest of some kind. I don't know who it'll be, and I don't know who my co-host will be, but we'll figure all of that out in the coming days. But in the meantime, be watching the news, be watching everything for San Diego stuff, and again, be watching our social media. We'll let you know what's going on.
All right. Thank you all so much. And like Kyle said, he'll be back next week, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.